Bills fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this was likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years.
Shut up the Bills! It's not outside! It's not outside! Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Told me now listen, everyone play their position. Buffalo got a tradition. They say we tripping, they better get out our way. Top of the table, we flipping, we on a mission. Got an unstoppable team, continue to follow your dream by any means. Buffalo, get in the Super Bowl ring. Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Mafia up in your city, time to get gritty. Screaming and yelling, we bugging. Look at the red and blue.
This is an MVP year for Josh Allen. As an MVP voter, I said this last week. Josh Allen, he looks like an MVP. When you vote for MVP, and I can speak for myself, I think I'm one of 50 voters, you look at a couple things. Who's the best team in football? Who's the best player on that team in football? What do they look like as the best player on that team in football? And how much talent is around that best player on that best team in football?
And a good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Coast to Coast podcast. I am your co-host, Beyond 716, here with the one and only Whittle 2K here on this Wednesday as we inch closer to holiday season. It is also Bills season in full bloom, and we are here to discuss the huge win at New England. Look forward to see what happens in Cleveland, and we're going to go dive into it. Are the Buffalo Bills completely back? Have the Buffalo Bills become the favorites in the AFC once again at this point to go to Santa Clara, California, which is the ultimate goal? Whittle, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Vacation is almost upon us, Christmas season, and just what a week, right? What an absolute week. What an absolute ray of emotions as this team continues to do. A tale of two halves. Yours truly, Eva, still falls bait to it on Twitter during the game, as we all, as some of us have, as this team has been, it's just so hard to figure out, right? Even from quarter to quarter, Whittle, right? There are times you watch this defense and they look like a sieve and they're getting beat in almost every facet, and then all of a sudden just some kind of light switch goes off and the adjustments are made.
I seen this team do this so many times this year. I did not, even at 21-0, I wasn't wavering. I still thought that we were still in the game, which is kind of weird because down 21. Actually, you know what? Down 21, I was like, I know we're not about to get blown out, man. So we got to get points. And, we get the football and we move up the field pretty quickly and put the ball in the end zone. But, I was just like, no, there's no way. There's no way we're going to give up. There's no way we come into this game and get blown out, right? So once it was 21-7, I felt a lot better about the game because we actually got in the end zone. Like, that was what kind of kept me grounded in my belief that we were going to win, because we did. I thought that we were getting looks and opportunities that we wanted, it's just we weren't executing. Once they did, you had the Cooks drop early.
Yep.
You know, just failures on the offensive line to kind of recognize what the defense was doing. A couple of missed throws by Josh. He sailed a few throws early.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we couldn't really establish the run too much, but ultimately, man, I mean, we came back and you know, second half. I remember speaking to Dale, text
Mm-hmm.
our guy Dale,
Yeah.
uh, you know, during the first half, and I'm like, bro, like, we got. He was like, man, I think we're fine. I'm like, yeah, like I don't feel like we're out of it, but like they got to do something now. They scored the touchdown. Once they scored the touchdown, we both were like, all right, we're good.
Yep.
You know, Dale said he texted me. He's like, bro, if actually we were on the phone. He says, listen, we get the ball after the half. As long as we score, like we're good. And we score coming out of the half, and I felt the same way. It was just like, whatever. All right. Once we got that stop, and it got to 21-24, we were down. Once we got that stop and scored again, and it was 20, they only had a 3-point lead. That's when I was like, all right, we're really about to walk these guys down. And
Mm-hmm.
outside of a what was it, 60-yard, 50-something yard run,
Mm-hmm.
which was which was able to happen because AJ Epinesa did not get deep enough. Um, on the backside pursuit, he gave up the angle that allowed that, speed demon Travion Henderson to get, out athlete everybody up the sideline. Um, but ultimately, man, we needed that game.
Yep.
We deserved that game. I didn't think we played well in the first game. The ball over 3 times. I've said this all year. When the Bills don't turn the ball over, the Bills are very difficult to beat. Doesn't matter
Yep.
who our receivers are. Doesn't matter who's on the defense. Like the Bills are tough to beat when we don't turn the ball over. So yeah, I was impressed. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen, he makes plays in these games. And it's just like it's almost like every week at this point now. It's like, bro, how are you like? How did you do that? Like why? Like why are you able to do this in these scenarios? But you don't see it as consistent as you want to. At least this
Mm-hmm.
year we have. That throw he made on 3rd and 15. First off, uh, shame on New England Patriots. Shame on you fans of the Patriots, and shame on your head coach. Shame, shame, shame. You guys are sore losers. Like it is so infuriating watching a fan base who spiked the football for 10 straight weeks because they won a game in Buffalo, game 5 of the regular season. You got
Mm-hmm.
the football for 10 straight weeks. You did. You told us it was over. Drake was better than Josh. All of these different things that were being said in
The torch is passed.
the media,
Mm-hmm.
the news cycle, the national news cycle. Guys were putting Drake May ahead of Josh Allen as far as the quarterback is concerned, saying that the Bills missed their opportunity because New England's here and they're poised to take this division back over. What? Playing a fourth place schedule, and I get it. You only play the guys that are in front of you. Understood. You're playing a
Mm-hmm.
place schedule. Your best win on the season was week 5 against us. And your most embarrassing loss was the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's also a playoff team, but now it's being up 21-0 and losing that game.
At home, mind you.
So to cry about the flags and cry about the Bills didn't get penalized enough. They didn't throw enough flags. They didn't. they get called for holding all the time, and they didn't get any holding calls. Actually, we did. Josh Allen scores a walk-in touchdown from the 5 on 3rd and goal, and they bring it back on a holding penalty against Osiris Thorne. Which I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it was a hold, good
Yeah.
call, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then on 3rd and 15, you don't make a play anyway. Josh Allen is able to break containment, get outside the pocket, finds Dawson Knox in the end zone with a defender on his back, throws a laser 25 yards downfield into Dawson Knox's numbers, touchdown. Like you got if you're up 21 points, you shouldn't need the reps. You're at home.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't need the reps.
Agree.
Here we
Yeah.
are. 6 rings and a bunch of babies. A bunch of babies.
Yeah. Is it a funny whittle that during the drought they would say the same thing about us if we acted like that too? And this is exactly
Absolutely.
how they acted on Sunday, and just how the torch is passed. And I mean, and listen, Drake May's been very impressive this year. I mean, we're not taking anything away from the Patriots. They've really taken a leap up. I remember you said it. Remember we did our preview. You talked about them being in second place all off season, right? I mean, there were definitely some
No, I actually
signs.
had Miami. I actually had
Oh yeah, I thought you
Miami
had
as
New England.
but I had them 3rd.
I
No,
I thought you did.
I had
Okay.
Miami. I just didn't. I
Mhm.
didn't believe that. First off, I wasn't sold on how good Milton Williams would be,
Yeah, he's
and
been.
I didn't
Mhm.
I didn't know what Diggs was going to give them
Yep.
as far as offensively. But I mean, they surprised the heck out of me. Give them
Yep.
credit for it.
And Milton Williams was a factor being out this week, but we also had Ed Oliver out. We also had Agent 47 out, Christian Benford. So we have our own guys out too. And the
Bernard,
Bills did
yeah.
find a way. Terrell Bernard as well. That's 3 big pieces on our defense that are missing right now. So we could talk injuries back and forth. So listen, the Bills made the plays. They showed the veteran savvy. They showed the ability in this game. And it just basically showed New England has basically been exposed to me as a team that's really come a long way, but they have some work to do, right? And but they should hold their heads down. But it's just the way that they acted was such definitive because they've been so used to it for so long. Because in 2001, Whittle, when the Patriots came out of nowhere from 4 wins to the Super Bowl, they thought this was going to happen again. Right? They think this is the norm, but that is far from the norm. As you know, there are levels to this. You have to take steps, right? You like we did in 2019, we took a step, right? We won 10 games, we made the playoffs. That's what New England's I think is looking to do this year. I think for them that's a great year. Then maybe the year after and the year after that is when I would say you look at New England trying to make that bigger run at that point. So they definitely have some work to do. But just a great win for the Bills. I mean, that locker room had to be I mean, I just couldn't imagine how that flight back was and how they're feeling right now. I mean, we're starting to show signs of playing our best football. We're getting healthier at the right time. So I agree with you too. I wanted to say too, once we got it to 10 points, I said, okay, I feel like we definitely have stabilized it. But and I want to say hello to Steve, our good friend here. And yes, this was great. Seeing Dave Purtney go down and after his rant was priceless. That was worth the price of admission. And many other Patriot content creators to watch the meltdowns were just, it was fantastic. It was as good as some of the pizza he tries on his pizza reports. So,
Yeah, I mean, I watched the video where it had like 4 or 5 different Patriot content creators all reacting to the game as the game was happening, and geez, man, it's pretty bad. And you see the roller coaster of emotions. They're talking a lot of trash up 21-0, 24-7 at halftime. They're feeling real confident. 24-14, they're still confident. 24-21, not so much. You see them just kind of like start to fall apart. And I mean, it is what it is. Like this is a veteran team. The Bills know what they this is what needs to happen. Like they understand this is what needs to happen on you know, late in the season where we're a game behind the we're a game behind the Patriots in the division.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they lose a division game and we finish the same record, we'll win. We'll actually win the AFC East again, um, which is like important because it guarantees you a home game. But more importantly, we're still in the conversation for potentially securing the one seed. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, those guys in Denver. Denver's playing pretty good football right now. They had a
Very good
really
for
big
yeah.
win Sunday. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they had a big win Sunday. Um, and you know, listen, if the Patriots slip up against either Miami or the Jets, um, you know, division belongs to Buffalo if we win out. Then we got
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland Sunday and one. We got the Eagles uh, the following Sunday in Buffalo at 4:25. I will be at that game.
Ooh,
And
very nice. Okay, you taking
last
your
game
son
of
with
the
you? You
season.
guys are going up there?
Yes. Yeah, taking
Fantastic.
my
Oh,
son
that's
up
great,
there.
Whittle. All right.
And then the last game of the season is a home game against the Jets. Um, one of my coworkers is going to owe me some money after that game because I told him we're sweeping the Jets. So
I guess that
I
guy
have
just likes losing money. So hey, not a bad way to start the year, right?
yeah,
So
I've done pretty well this year.
yeah.
I took a little wager on the Cowboys that did not pay out,
Mm-hmm.
but you know whatever.
Yeah.
But listen, I
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to move off of I don't want to shortchange the Browns, but this game against the Patriots, man, it and I hear people say, you know what, the Bills just need to start strong, start fast, and do that instead of just waiting until the second half and being down a lot of points. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I also think at the same time we got to understand who we have out there and what's available. The Bills are top five in most games missed due to injury this year.
Hmm.
So if you add the 12 games, because it's 6 games for Ogunjobi and 6 games for Hoyt, if you add those 12 games to there, we're top three
Mm-hmm.
in most games missed this year. So it's difficult to get the full. It's difficult for the defense to play as well as it should when it doesn't have the guys that they need to execute the game plan. So um, it is what it is. I understand it's the end of the year. You know, no trade. The trade deadline is passed. It's time to really it's time to really lock in. But you know, that alone gives me just knowing that fact that we haven't played great defense because we haven't had all the full complement of our guys. And Oliver should be back in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Terrell Bernard was limited practice on Sunday. I mean today he was a limited practice as well as Christian Benford. Taron
Mm-hmm.
Johnson's the full practice. Daquan Jones full practice.
Mm-hmm.
Kincaid and Jordan Phillips did not practice, and we all know Matt Prater is pretty much
Yep. There we
hurt.
go. I put up our injury report for everyone at home, watching as
Yeah,
well.
there you go.
So, yep. And be
So
interesting to see if
you
Hardman plays this week. Do you think they hold him back another week just to get him right for the playoffs, considering the opponent?
I mean, I probably wouldn't. I probably would give him the nod to play
Mm-hmm.
because we've done a great job on special teams
Mm-hmm.
uh, with getting really good field position over the last few weeks. Ray Davis, I believe, leads the NFL in yards per kickoff return. So you know,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see who gets deactivated if Hardman is activated. So
yeah,
see if that ties into Coleman as well, right? That's going to be an
right.
interesting call there. And listen, give Coleman Coleman some credit. I love the run block he made in this game where he was trucking the guy down the field. Like he's trying to do the little things to get back, and I think that's what he should be doing. And and I'm glad to see it. So hopefully he'll continue down that path, and he could still be a factor for us, maybe even in the playoffs, and especially in the red zone, which is really what we were hoping for with Coleman in the first place. So, but we'll see who gets active and who gets deactivated this week at Cleveland. And I agree with you, Whittle. This game, you never want to take any opponent lightly uh, going into this week. I wanted to bring this point up that Steve said too, and this is interesting. I didn't even realize that McDaniels only ran the ball 6 times in the second half. But I also felt like the Patriots didn't have the ball much in the second half, if I remember
No, the
correctly.
third quarter we ate up the majority of that quarter with
Yeah, but that's a good point, though.
scoring drives.
I think they should have run the ball more in that case. I mean, and it was interesting about that game too. At the end, watching Drake May as good as he's been this year, I feel like I know he didn't make plays, but he just looked like to me an inexperienced quarterback at that moment, and that was a big moment. I mean, all of a sudden, I felt he probably said, "Wait a minute, we're playing the Buffalo Bills here. We're playing for the division. This is enormous, right?" And I felt like maybe that just got to the whole Patriot team, and I think they got real tight, and it showed. And like I said, for once we're on the other side of that in terms of the experience and in terms of making big plays late on games on the road. So that was one of the big takeaways I took from that as well.
Um, yeah, you know this team this team can be frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Can
To
be
say the
very very
least.
frustrating. Um, you have bad losses based on that. Like I'm gonna give I'm not gonna say that all the losses are strictly because of the turnovers or strictly because of we just didn't play well. I think Houston played a really good, sound defensive game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought Josh Allen could have and should have been better, but that's a combination of Josh not really having a great game and what Houston was throwing our way defensively. You know, their
Mm-hmm.
speed, their ability to cover, stay sticky, how disciplined they are at the second level with their linebackers, and how athletically dominant their edges are, and they're getting very good play from their defensive tackles. So I'm gonna give them a ton of credit because that's what it was what it was. And even the Dolphins, we had 3 long drives in that game that ended with turnovers, and we got
Mm-hmm.
0 points. And I mean, when I say long drives, I mean like we're in position to score in every single one of those drives. One of those drives was actually a red zone interception. Um, but credit to Miami, who just benched Tua today, decided to bench Tua going
Mm-hmm.
forward. Um, Credit to Miami, like they did what they needed to do. They played us tough earlier in the year,
Mm-hmm.
and then we didn't help ourselves this year, this last go round by turning it over. And next thing you know, um, you look up the scores 30-13 or whatever, 30-16 or whatever the score was. We just couldn't stop the run, couldn't get out of our own way, and Miami took full advantage. Um, we're not seeing that from this team now. The team has done a very good job of taking much better care of the football. Uh, Josh Allen's making much better decisions. Josh Allen seems to have hit a stride uh, this year or this season to where, I mean, it's to the point now where people are talking about him potentially being in the MVP race
Mm-hmm.
when, he really wasn't there all season outside of the first, I guess, 4 weeks of the year. We started losing games. The next thing you know, Josh Allen falls out of favor with the in the MVP race. But it is what it is. Um, let's look to keep this going against a quality opponent, at least on the defensive side of the football in the Cleveland Browns. And I will say, their offense isn't where they want it to be, but I believe it's coming along I believe it's coming along. Shador is giving them some a little more production, a little bit better play at the quarterback position. They already have Jerry Judy. They got a nice pair of tight ends and David Njoku and Harold Fanning.
Mm-hmm.
They have those weapons, right?
Hey, that's little.
But
I don't have too many of these guys, but Harold Fannin was my draft crush. Six
oh
four
yeah,
tight end from Bowling Green. I remember I'm a Penn State fan. I watched him against Penn State. I said, who is this Fannin guy? He is just everywhere in the field. And he's got 66 receptions this year. I didn't realize that. I looked at his numbers this week. I said, wow, Hennepin's really been, he's got to take it over his tight end one there in Cleveland over Nadoku. So
but
yeah,
they
pretty
come into
impressive.
this game wounded. They come into this game kind of wounded. I'm
Yeah.
looking at the injury report right now.
Mm-hmm.
Starting like their offensive line, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive linemen. Either did not practice or limited practice. Wyatt Teller being one of the limited practice guys. Um, Joe Batoni and Jack Conklin did not practice at all. Conklin still in concussion protocol, I guess. And Joe Batoni
Mm-hmm.
dealing with a knee. Mason Graham was a limited practice um, with a rib injury, but I'm certain that he'll play at when we get to the when we get to Sunday. Some of these guys should fall off. They should go from did not practice to light practice, maybe even full practice. Um, this is going to be I think this is going to be a tougher game than what people expect. Uh, they can run the football. Uh, they have the personnel to do it. They're not great at it, that's for sure. But they definitely have the personnel to do it. Quinshawn Junkins, again, they have 2 tight ends that they feel comfortable putting on the field, both as blockers and receivers. Um, and then when the offensive line is healthy, which it currently is not, but when it is healthy, that is a team that can run the football. And
Mm-hmm.
we're being honest, Buffalo Bills are one of the worst run defense teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have a ton of
Yeah.
yards per carry. Uh, we give up a bunch of yards per game on the ground, but something happens after halftime, and these guys just they lock in. I mean, the defense. We have the highest point differential in the second half, and I mean, I'm going over the last like 4 games, man. Um, against Tampa Bay, I think Tampa Bay scored like twice. They had 2 touchdowns in the second half,
Mm-hmm.
but the Bengals. What did the Bengals get in the second half? Did they get a touchdown late? Two touchdowns
Garbage
late.
touchdown. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
two touchdowns late. Like one of them was a garbage touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers, they got nothing after halftime. They didn't score at all. Uh, and then Sunday, Patriots got 7 points after the half. You didn't get anything else. That was it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so the defense does figure it out. Um, and this is not a game where like I'm super worried about the Bills getting out to a slow start and Cleveland lighting the scoreboard up. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe they will be able to do that. Shador is a young quarterback. He's a rookie. Sean McDermott's excellent against rookies. Shador has shown the ability to make mistakes based on changes in coverage and things like that. So I expect a great defensive mind of Sean McDermott and his pupil slash defensive coordinator Bobby Babich. I expect those guys to put something together to keep Shador off balance. Um, this should
Mm-hmm.
be a fairly uh, comfortable win. I do think that we win. I don't think that it's by you know 2 or 3 scores. It's probably this probably is a 1-score game because of how good they are defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you know, I don't think that they pose that much of a threat offensively to this team. So whatever.
Yep. Absolutely. So But again, coming into this week, off this huge win, that the Bills had on Sunday, still a lot of work to do to win the division, as we know. We're going to have a rooting interest in the Ravens, not something we've been accustomed to of late, but we're going to have to be. But the key is that the Patriots need to lose. I believe they have to lose to Miami or the Jets. Miami preferably because of the common opponents, and will put us in a tiebreaker situation where if Buffalo does run the table, they will win on a tiebreaker. I believe it's the fourth or fifth tiebreaker. Well, it's pretty deep, so will be interesting to see how that plays out. So, but really, Whittle, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. The number one thing that I feel that's most important right now is just getting healthy and right at the right time, right? We know we're going to have to win some games on the road in the playoffs. I understand McDermott has not won on the road as coach of the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, but I think we're built so much differently now than we were like in 2020, 2021. And listen, let's be honest, 13 seconds, we had it won, right? We've played some good games on the road, even though we lost. I think we'll travel better now. Like I said, we're a power football team, our offensive line, the way that we play. And I said, the way our offense runs, I think we can control time of possession. I think we can, win in places. And again, some of the teams we're going to be playing that don't have that deep experience like a Kansas City or coaching staffs as well. Kansas City's, the Baltimore's, things like that. Even though Denver has, a Super Bowl winning coach and things like that, their team has this iteration of the Broncos does not have that experience that the Buffalo Bills currently do. So I think that's the most important part is for the next few weeks. We continue to get healthier, continue to get guys back, and then just hit on all cylinders after the Jets game into the playoffs.
Worried about Philly?
Always, because their front four is ferocious. I know they've had their own issues. They had a get right game this week. I'm curious to see now if the again, it's just it's a get right. They probably just for their psyche. The Eagles have been a little bit weird this year too. I mean, we've talked about the Bills, right? There have been times that the Eagles and Bills were both undefeated to start the year, and then they both lost week 5, right? And then the Eagles went a little sideways like the Bills did, and then the Eagles started rolling again. Their defense was filthy. They were beating Green Bay, beating Detroit, and everybody was saying the Eagles are back. And then they go and lose 3 in a row after being up 21-0 at Dallas. They lost that game. And then they went a little sideways. So maybe we'll see New England do that too as another tie-in. But now we'll have to see what Eagle team shows up. The other thing is if they win this week at Washington and Dallas, I believe they win the division. I'm not sure how much they're going to have to play for in the next 2 weeks. In terms of that, in terms of seeding, they may be able only to get up to a 3 or a 2. I think they'll be clear of the 4. So I believe, so we'll see how they treat that Bills game going into it, right? Are they going to have all hands on deck? That I believe they'll have something to play for, but that could be a factor. But I would say always concerned with it just because of who they have on their front four. I don't know if Jalen Carter's going to be back for that game either. So that's a big factor. I know his shoulders. I think they'd probably be wise to hold him off. I don't know if I bring him back in Buffalo as his first game. Probably not the best idea. But we'll see. Oh yeah, a Dog. I've been thinking about Dog in terms of the Eagles because he's right in Philly Nation. So so we'll go from there. Start your 2s and 3s. We'll take it from there. I'm with him on that. So, and again, we don't want to overlook our opponent this week either. Whittle, I do agree with you. The Cleveland Browns. I mean, they're a young offense. I mean, Shedeur Sanders, is getting to start. He's had a couple of glimpses here and there. I always say the biggest key in games like this, Whittle, is just to start. Now, no, we haven't gotten off to good starts, and that's the weird thing, and we continue to win. But when you're playing a team like Cleveland, I still feel they have young players. I still feel like they're hungry, right? Whittle, I feel like they got guys like Sanders wants to prove himself, right? They got guys like Hannafin. They got guys like Judkins, their running back. He's a pretty good looking running back. They have guys that if they're engaged and if they're up in the game, they may push hard in this type of game. So I feel like just getting off to a nice start, maybe just have them thinking about Cancun or whatever place they want to go in the off season would be the best way to go for the Buffalo Bills. we'd love to see ball cap Josh in this game. That would be ideal in that situation, but we'll have to see how it goes. And this is a defense. They still have great players. Obviously, Myles Garrett is, I mean, he's just one of a kind. I mean, like I've said before, if you anybody who's not old enough to remember Whittle, if you want to know what Bruce Smith was like, you're going to see it on Sunday, right? Myles Garrett is in that class of great defensive ends of all time. He is up there with the Reggie Whites. He's up there with the Bruce Smiths. He's in that level. He's beyond, in terms of that. And that's why, like Brandon Bean said, right? Didn't he say, if I could trade for one player in the league, remember he said it was Myles Garrett, and I think you're seeing why that's the case. So it should be a great environment. Should be a ton of Bills fans at that game too. So I'm sure we'll take over that building pretty well this weekend. So
I don't know. I mean, I think that there will be a good amount of Bills fans there, but bro, like the Cleveland fans, they still show up for the team, bro. Like especially because like Shador, I think Shador has a pretty good. I think he has a pretty good following in Cleveland. I mean,
he does.
nationally, he does definitely, but in Cleveland, I was actually talking to some Cleveland fans today, and I don't want to say that they're split, but they're just like, give this kid a chance. I mean, it's clear like he's better than the other guys that you were playing. He's better than Flacco at 40, 43 or 46,
48,
whatever
whatever.
it is. Bro, he's old. Yeah, like Flacco's old. So
that is all the Phil Rivers, but
Flacco.
close. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think Flacco's like 41.
41,
so like he's a little younger than Rodgers, I believe. So
I believe so.
Like, he's better than Flacco at 40, whatever 40 he is. He's better than Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel stinks. So, give the kid a chance. And the discourse around him is that, he's not playing well. He's not playing well. Yeah, because he didn't have a preseason, and the first 10 weeks of the season to make mistakes and learn on the job. He's still adjusted to the speed of the NFL. He's still, working on chemistry. It's not like as the third or fourth string quarterback, which is what he was. It's not like you're getting a ton of reps with the ones. It's not like you're getting a ton of practice time. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I think it's a blessing in disguise the way it worked out for him, Whittle. I think
for sure,
because he, now he's at the end of the year, and if he shows you some glimpses, like remember you said this draft coming up, there are quarterbacks, but they're not. I don't know. They don't move.
I don't think there's a quarterback in this draft better than.
Yeah, you might as well give Sanders another shot next year, right?
I think
and plus, you're going to get Deshaun Watson back on the roster. Who, what I'm saying is, if you could go with Sanders, if it doesn't work, you could go back to Watson, and then you can, with those 2 first-round picks they're going to have. Now that Jacksonville pick is not looking as good as originally people thought it was going to be, but that's still a first-round pick. They have their own. They could keep building, the trenches or keep building the defense. Yes, I think, like I said, if Sanders would have started early and he wasn't doing well and the team was bad, they would have moved off from him, and then who knows what happens next year. This way now he could get, if he could show some glimpses here, he'll have every opportunity to have the offseason and become the guy in 2026, excuse me. These time's moving fast. But anyway, so that we'll see how it'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how he looks against the Bills. McDermott's done very well against young quarterbacks in the past. We know his track record. He's going to throw a lot of different looks at Shador. So it's a good test for him, and it's a good test for the Bills as well. Again, just take care of business this weekend. That's really what it's all about. I mean, there's really no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to say you want to get up in this game. You want to force Sanders into a couple of mistakes. Again, as a young quarterback, like you said, the speed of the game, seeing things, new looks for the new time, and hopefully we can force him into this. This is an interesting comparison right here. A young Chad Pennington. That's actually not a bad comparison. Thinking about Chad, if Chad Pennington would have been a good quarterback if he didn't get hurt, I could see that a little bit. I think a little more dash of athleticism than Chad, but I think that's it. And listen, that's a solid quarterback. If they get that out of him, I don't think they're going to complain. if healthy, of course.
That's good. I thought Chad Pennington was good.
Yeah, he was good.
Good player.
Unfortunately, his arm didn't cooperate, but
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know what it is about the Bills playing in Cleveland, but they haven't been kind. I know my last memory of Cleveland was the Trent Edwards year where the Bills won a few games in a row. They were trying to make the playoffs. At the end of the year, Whittle, the Bills lost, I believe it was 8-0 in just a blizzard game. It was one of the ugliest football games I've ever seen in all the years being a fan. It was just dreadful to watch on TV. And I think it was 2007 or 2008, if I remember correctly. But I remember we lost to the Browns like 6-3 at home as well. We've had some ugly games. Yes, RJ, 6-3 on Monday Night Football. We lost, right? Yeah, that was terrible. That was an awful game against the Browns, right? And Dog is right. Any given Sunday does apply to us, but
Yeah.
Whittle,
This is a game. Honestly, this is a game. If the Bills turn the football over a few times, they could lose. It's not like it's not like they're going to be unwilling to run the football. They're going to hand the football off to Quinshon Judkins, and then they have a guy. They have a guy in Jerry Jeudy who I worry that if Jerry Judy's in the slot going up against Aaron Johnson, their effective running the football, play action could really hurt us with that particular matchup. And then Shador is, I think having Shador at quarterback gives them another element of like the extra play. Like if the play breaks down, Shador knows how to improvise. Like he can improvise when the play breaks down. So that's another thing that kind of worries me. But ultimately, man, this is a game the Bills should handle. Like they should be okay. It's this time of the year now where um it's the time of the year where the games mean more. Like we're talking about playoff seeding, we're talking about potential matchups, we're talking about definitely having the momentum in the right direction heading into the postseason. So for this situation, you play at 1:00. The Ravens and the Patriots play Sunday Night Football. I want to win at 1:00 because I want all the pressure on that Patriots team on Sunday Night Football, that young team in the bank against Baltimore. That's what I want. I want that pressure on those guys to see what happens. Do they figure it out? Or do they go in there and they lose? It's a tough place to win. You remember? I mean, we were there last year. So Sunday Night Football, and we got blown out.
Yep.
What's going to happen with these guys? How's Drake May going to handle that pressure?
And it's going to be pressure, no doubt about it. RJ also asked about the Browns defense. I was looking up their DVOA rankings, Whittle, and DVOA is a pretty respected metric, around the circles of the Massaris and whatnot. They are 32nd in offensive DVOA, which is horrendous. But defensive DVOA, they're ranked 3rd overall, 5th against the pass, and 2nd against the run. This defense is very, very good. I remember there were some games earlier this year, Whittle. I remember they played Baltimore, and I remember Baltimore put up 40 points, but if you watch the game, they really only gave up about 20. Like their offense was so dreadful, putting them in such bad positions. So that's why I think the key this week is just to try to not have Shador have that kind of game like he did against Tennessee, throwing the ball very well, and just get to, they didn't have a great game last week in Chicago. I mean, that game was just dreadful for them as well. But this is a dangerous defense. This is a defense you don't want to FAFO against, right? Basically, FAFO, isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
Right? You really don't want to do it, right? You want to get it done, or you really don't want to mess around here because they have, again, the great Myles Garrett's lurking, and he can change a game. Strip sack, Josh, fumble, like you said, fumbles and things like that. I believe Schwartz is still the coordinator in Yeah, our old buddy. He's an excellent again guy. That's not a good head coach, but what a great DC he is. He's still doing
You
his
know
thing.
what else is crazy? You brought up potential of a sack. Miles Garrett is like chasing down that sack record. What does he
Mm-hmm.
need? Like one more, and he sets the record for
21 and a half, I believe. What? Who has the record? Wait,
Strahan.
I think it's shared by Watt and Michael Strahan, if I remember right. I'm gonna look it up now and see if I can find it.
I know Strahan. I know
It's
Strahan is one of
shared. Yep, shared by Watt in 2021 and Strahan 22 and a half with that. So Mark Gastineau and Jared Allen and Justin Houston, 22 sacks apiece, all three of them. So it is possible if Myles Garrett gets 2 sacks, he breaks the all-time record. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if he did, as long as we win the game. I wouldn't mind watching some history. I
I don't
think,
want to get one,
well,
man.
not this week. Well, I'll say this: I want Garrett to break it in 16. I just don't want to hear, well, he played 17 games. I'd rather see him maybe next week.
Okay, fair.
Yeah,
Yep. Fair.
I would love to
Yep.
see. Not that 17 would cheapen it for me,
I like
Whittle. I
that.
just, let's see Myles
Yeah.
Garrett get. How about maybe just one this week late on Mitch Trubisky? How about that? Ball cap Josh, right? We'll give him but not the way that Brett Favre did it for Michael Strahan, by the way, Whittle, which I still think
Don't
was
slide.
one of
Yeah,
the.
don't take the dive,
No,
bro.
please don't
Yeah,
take the
we don't respect
dive.
that.
No, that was so bad. I'll never forget it. So
We don't respect that.
Josh, even RJ said Josh Allen should pull a Brett Favre. Yeah, and Mark Gastineau's still hunting him down. That's true. Mark Gastineau was going after Brett Favre in that. But did you hear about that story? How Gastineau approached him at some event, going crazy about the sack record. He's still aggravated after 30-something years of that. So yeah, that was pretty bad. So I'm not sure what the weather's going to be like this week. I'm going to try to check into that. As we all know Cleveland is a balmy place this time of year. I do kid, Whittle. So but let's see. What are we looking like
This is
in
responding to a fragile Falcons fan right now.
fragile? Oh, I think I know who you're talking about, by the way, because I've seen
Bro,
some
I
back
don't
and forth.
understand this. Like the Bills, if the Bills are on your schedule, it's probably one of the biggest. It's probably one of the best. Like the Bills are probably the
Mm-hmm,
best, or one. They're one of the best teams on your schedule. So
mm-hmm.
whenever you play them, it's a big game. I don't
Yep.
understand why that's controversial.
Yep.
If the Bills play the Cardinals, and the Cardinals, like week 1 last year, right? Talk to
Mm-hmm.
Cardinal fans, they say, we want to see where we're at. Playing the Bills, how we look against the Bills, that's going to tell us what, where we are as a team, like where we are in this situation, in this rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
We played the Panthers this year.
Yeah.
That's a barometer game for them.
Mm-hmm.
Playing the Bills lets you know where you are because the Bills are good right now. Playing the Bills lets you know where you are as a team. You play well against the Bills, okay, we have a talented team. Like we can play with the big boys. That's what it means. So if you're a
Mm-hmm.
non-playoff team like the Saints or the Falcons or the Giants or the Jets, and you have a good game against the Bills and win, or don't win. Maybe you don't win. You lose by a walk-off field goal or something like that. You feel good about that.
Absolutely.
A couple years ago, we played the Commanders. They were out to a 2-0 start. Played in week 3, blew the absolute doors off of them.
Mm-hmm. This is the
Blew the
truest
doors off
statement
of
I've seen in a while right here.
They had to change their outlook. Maybe we're not as good as we thought we were, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the level of team that we want to be. That's the level of team that we want to compete with, and they just dog walk us.
Yep. Yep.
So, whatever.
Hey, listen.
Um,
I mean, I'm honored that they think so highly of that game. In Atlanta, so they haven't had really much.
now
to
they're
cheer for
trying to say,
really, so.
well, you won, so you lost, and you guys said your team wasn't good. Fans say stuff like that after games.
Mm-hmm.
After every game, Bills fans say, fire the head coach. The head coach sometimes has nothing. He has very little to do with some of these losses.
Yeah.
Very little. And the first thing that comes out of people's mouth is, we're getting our coach, fire the coach.
You know,
And then
I
after
don't,
you go
there's
back,
nothing.
you watch the game, analyze the game, you pick the game apart, watch the game over, you look at the different plays, look at the situation, look at these different plays, these different situations that the team is in from a non-emotional standpoint of just the game just happening.
Mm-hmm.
You view things differently. That's why I don't tweet during games anymore.
You know
I
what,
don't
Whittle?
do
I
it
should learn
because
my lesson, but I don't. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't.
like I don't tweet anymore. I don't tweet during
Yep,
the game.
yep. You're
You know
smart.
why? Because I don't want to be like the Patriot fans who were
Or me.
tweeting all throughout the game
Yeah.
until the Bills got within 3. Now they're very quiet, and the Bills
Mm-hmm.
turn around and win that game. And now you've been talking crazy for 10 weeks and for 2 quarters,
Yep.
and now you're embarrassed. Now it looks bad.
Yep. It happens. Like, you know, I eat my crow, but I'm not as bad as some others, of course. But you know, sometimes the game gets the best of you, and you just gotta voice your opinion. But I'm trying to learn. Hey, just then from that point on, I just put it down. I'm like, okay, I'm done here. I got a couple points across, and that's it. So, but be it as it may, I agree with you. It's best to stay off the social media, especially with this year's version of the Buffalo Bills, until that game is over. 100%. So they hear this guy. Welcome here, Dale, Dan, Tony. If Josh doesn't win MVP award, then the award means nothing. Hey, if you think about
I
what
don't agree with that.
I think there's some other
We
great
can talk
candidates
about
this
that
year.
for a little bit too, if you want.
Yeah. I mean, if you had to choose the MVP right now, Whittle, who are you giving the award to?
Stafford, man, it's Stafford.
I
It's gotta
have
be
to agree.
Stafford.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's been from
Now I will say
beginning to
this.
end.
I'll say this. Thursday night is huge
Yes, it is. That's a
because
big game.
you probably don't have Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where Puka Nakua's head is going to be at because I just read something.
What's going on with Puka
Uh,
Nakua? That was a little bit
I-
weird.
did
So,
you read that? You know what I'm talking about?
yes, I do.
Situation with the streamer. The streamer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like bro, they about to come for
Uh,
your neck for the rest of this week. And this is a
yep.
short week.
Somebody
Play
said,
tomorrow night, bro.
I,
They're gonna
I
be on
just
his
saw
head tomorrow.
I just saw a tweet that said, I hope he's not going the Antonio Brown route, maybe hopefully with the head hits or something. I hope
Listen, man.
he's not going that direction, but we'll see. I sure hope not. But
I hope his head is in the game because Stafford's gonna need him tomorrow. That
mm-hmm.
Seattle team is good. Like they fly around the foot, they fly all over the place. Mike McDonald, the head coach, excellent
Mm-hmm.
defensive coordinator. He was the
Yep.
defensive coordinator for that Ravens defense in 23 that was like number 1 in everything.
Yep.
So they got some dogs up there, man. Leonard Williams, what's the other guy
Wardy.
they got
Don't
from
they got that
Texas?
Emo Wardy, the guy from the draft
Even
this year we
Warrior,
like so
even
much?
Warriors in the
Yeah.
secondary. Yep. They got a bunch of guys, man.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of guys over there. So
They draft really well, Will, the Seahawks, like lately, especially lately.
since having
Very
a
quietly.
career year,
Guys,
Raheem
that guy's
Shaheed
incredible.
is you know, he produced a little bit more. I listen, man. It's a big game tomorrow night. If they lose, like the loser of this game, I mean the winner of this game tomorrow night is not only leading the AFC West, but it's the number 1 seed. Like they're the number 1 seed in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they better tighten up, man. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with the fallout from this whole thing with Puka Nakua, but it's not going to be good. Nope. And then you're already down. Devontae Adams. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see what Stafford. We'll see what Stafford cooks up. But you know, if Stafford has a stinker, and you know, if Stafford has a stinker tomorrow night, or he just doesn't play well, whether they win or lose, if he doesn't play well, and the Bills continue to play well,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It's a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing about them Patriot fans, Diggs had them boys playing NBA. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yep. But when we won, they were saying
Oh,
we won our Super Bowl. I want that Eagles game too. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That Eagles game is the one that I want too, brother. We get
that's
that
gonna be
Eagles
a huge
game.
game.
That I think that stamps. This is the thing. We can't just get the Eagles game. It's got to be a situation where Josh plays well. Like if he can replicate his game that he had against the Eagles from a couple years ago, maybe not the turnover, but yeah, definitely.
Because they're
Get
past the
back to that.
they're real tough. They're every level of that defense is a menace, in my opinion.
They don't have a CB2, brother. I know Dory Jackson's playing a
That
little bit.
they're a little
They don't
bit
have a
against the
CB2.
run too. They're a little bit up and down against the run this year too. But
Oh, they are. Yeah. Yep.
Q on
That's
the outside, he's a
that's a
beast.
barometer game, man. See, like I'm saying, like I understand the Ravens, the Bengals, the Chiefs, and it really shouldn't even be the Bengals, but it is just because of the history.
Mhm.
Ravens, the Bengals, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. When I looked at the season, the schedule at the beginning of the year, those are the 4 games I had circled.
Mhm.
We have to win. Those are the games that
Yep.
are barometer games for us. How do we play against those elite level teams?
Yep.
That's
And he
that's what
Super
I'm
Bowl
looking at.
champions coming in. Yeah, we gotta make a statement.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I didn't know the Patriots going to be good. I didn't know we lose. I didn't know we get blown out by the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know we'd lose to
Yep.
Atlanta. I didn't know we would lose to who else did we lose to? The Texans.
Well,
I
Texans,
I didn't
I
know.
kind of expected that one. I kind of expected, to be honest. I've been high on Houston all year, so I digress. That was my AFC title pick in August, and I'm still sticking with it. Whittle, where the game is played is going to be the big factor on that. But I feel like Houston and
That's
Buffalo.
why we got to keep winning, bro. We keep winning.
Yep.
The game is in Buffalo.
That we need that to be in Buffalo. Yeah, we need to get because that team at home, they're tough. They're real tough.
See
But
what CJ Stroud looked like when it's 19 degrees.
yeah, in the comfy confines of the Houston Dome, I fear him a lot more than I would a Southern California kid in Buffalo in that time of
Ooh, I
year.
love it too.
Yeah.
This fight gonna be a night game too.
Yeah.
CJ gonna be
A
cold.
640 game in Buffalo. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. Oh man. So as for this week, because we got several minutes left, unfortunately, yours truly has to head out. We got a couple items to get to, for sure.
Okay.
Game picks for this game. I know it's going to probably be short and sweet. As for me, Whittle, I think the Bills handle business this week. This is December. I know we've lost some weird games this year, but we know how this team is in December. I say we don't mess around. I'm going 31-13. I think we handle it by 18 points. And again, I'm not saying they're not capable on that side. I think Buffalo gets up early. I think we force Sanders in a couple of mistakes. I think the way we play, I just think we get it done. Ball cap Josh late in that game. We get a little Mitch Trubisky. And Myles Garrett does not break the sack record, but he gets one this game.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go Bills 24, Browns 18.
Oh,
Bills
okay.
24, Browns 18.
Okay.
I think their defense is very, very tough. Exactly, RJ. I think the defense keeps them hanging around. And I also believe, I think Shador is going to be able to generate some offense. He's going to take his shots. And I think he's got favorable matchups, especially if Benford doesn't play. Like, Benford's light practice. Let's see what he looks like at the end of the week. But, if Benford does play, then that changes the math a little bit. But he still has Judy in the slot. I think that's possible to kind of exploit. And then you also have Junkins to run the football. So, I mean, all of those factors, I think that they're going to be able to generate some points.
Yep.
Maybe
I think we'll put up 31, but we get a
what
couple
changes it. Yeah, maybe what changes the math a bit is if they turn the football over. I I'm gonna say that they do a good job of protecting the ball. Maybe we do get an interception off of Shador, but
Mm-hmm.
again, this is a game where Shador. I'm sure Shador understands, and this the rest of the guys, they understand it. This is one of the better teams in the league coming into our building.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Let's
yeah,
let's put some good tape out there. So
absolutely.
you know,
Yep. Absolutely. And I think they'll get their yards. I think, we'll clamp down. We have to. I think we'll flip the field a couple times. But like, make no mistake, this may not be a comfortable game at times, folks. So don't think it's going to be I'm not saying when I say 30-13, it may be kind of like I was alluding to with that Baltimore game earlier this year where the score looked different than the game actually was. So that's what I'm going to say in that respect. So yeah, so hopefully the Bills will improve to 11-4, Whittle, and we'll keep the heat on New England. And who knows, we could be tied this time next week. So Steve's going 35-13, defensive touchdown. Wow, he's going for a higher score than even myself. So, but we'll see. Again, this game would not surprise me if at halftime we're tied, or if it's one of those games where it's tight. I mean, I guess, hey, maybe we should expect to be down 20 going in the second quarter. Just come back and win, right, Whittle? Actually, this is a week I don't want to mess around with that. This is not a week with that defense. No, I think you got to stay ahead of this, stay on schedule, as they say, stay ahead of the curve, and just get out there with the W. I don't care how ugly it is this week. We just need to get that dub, move on to 11-4, into the showdown against the world champion Eagles next week.
Yep.
So
yep. That's all I got, brother.
That's all I got. Well, actually, I do got one thing. I do have a Christmas present for Whittle, of sorts. So I'm just going to hold on one second.
Beyond. I don't know. I don't know what this is about, folks. I have no.
Well, this is about the
God.
NBA, Everett's Cup champ, New York Knicks, and I figured I would sport us with a Knicks hat to end the show today. And take Whittle. We get Candy to Heroes down New York for a parade, a ticker tape parade for this NBA Cup. Get you chuckling a little bit towards the end of the pod today.
If the Knicks have a parade for the NBA mid-season cup, that'd be the cringiest thing that organization has ever done in the history of that organization.
Maybe something by Macy's on 34th, maybe, or maybe Times Square or something. No, there's no way
they better not.
No, I'm just messing you. But listen, I'll take them as I can get them. Well, I've been waiting 40-something years for anything to be excited about. So we'll take the small ones that we can get them.
Congratulations to the Knicks on their mid-season cup win. That doesn't take into consideration the entire season. I will say this much: Jason Tatum will be back this season.
I'm well aware, and I respect that. You know me; I'm not one of these. I just had to get my fun time in while I can. So.
Yeah, in all seriousness, that excellent job by the Knicks to go and secure that.
They're looking good. It's a cool moment. That's how I see it.
Mike Brown looks like he's got those guys playing very well.
Yep.
I hope they don't trade for Giannis, not because I'm worried about Giannis, but I actually think the Knicks
think should not do that, right? You're thinking they should?
Yeah, no. I mean, the cost.
Yeah.
I think you guys got a good nucleus. I'm not the biggest Mikal Bridges fan, but I do think that him and OG set a nice. They have carved out nice roles for those two guys, as well as Josh Hart is defensive stopper. So I think you guys kind of have a really complete team. So
I think it's going to be a fun spring, Whittle. I think the Knicks and Celtics are going to be button heads for a little bit. And I think that's great for the game. So I'm looking forward to it. So, but I just had to have a little fun with this NBA Cup. So I digress. So anyway, So next week, yours truly will be in the Philippines. I am taking just a little bit of a vacation here, going across the big pond, the Pacific Ocean. So if you do the pod next week, I think the time difference, if it's 9, I'll be 10 o'clock a.m. on Thursday. So the Bills Browns game for me this week is 2 a.m. Monday morning. You think I'll be watching?
No. You
Yep.
will? Wow.
Yes,
That's
I will.
dedication, man.
Well, I have
You're
the
a real
NFL.
fan.
Hey, that's what we got to do, Whittle. We got to find a way to get it on there. So don't be surprised if I pop into space at 5 a.m.
Hey, man.
Say
I
hello.
get it, man. When I was in Iraq, we used to wake up at 2. We used to wake up at like 1 or 2 a.m. to watch the Monday Night Football game.
Man,
So
that's even more dedication because you're actually in a very tough situation. I'm going on vacation, so yep, yeah.
man, my folks in Iraq, bro.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be
The
heading there
best sleep of
tomorrow.
my life.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. So I'm looking forward. My wife and we leave tomorrow, 15 and a half hour flight. So you know about those long flights. So, but we'll make amends and we'll do what we got to do. And then after that, and then start the new year, we'll be back and better than ever. So, but I'll try to see if you're going to do it. Maybe I'll try to make an appearance next
Yeah,
week.
I'm still gonna do the pod.
Great.
And
Okay.
I probably will bring one of my I'll probably bring a guest on as well.
Fantastic.
So I'm gonna work on that.
We got some great Philly options out there
Yeah.
on the spaces and stuff. So
I think I'm gonna start working. I think I'm gonna start bringing guests back for the playoffs.
great. Okay. Absolutely. That'll be awesome. Thank you, Mark, as well. Safe travels and everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you do. Uh, go for it. In turn, whatever you celebrate, whatever it is. Whittle, same for you. Safe travels. I'm sure I'll talk to you, but safe travels up to Buffalo for Eagles Bills. Jealous that you're going to that game. That's going to be awesome. I'll be flying home in the middle of that game, smack in the middle. So I'll have to wait till I get home to watch it on NFL Plus. So we'll see how it goes. But that's all I had, Whittle.
Sure. That's it. Me too, brother. Thank you guys all for popping in and chilling with us for another episode. We will be back next week, 9 p.m. Same time, same bat time, same bat channel. Talking Bills, Eagles. Hopefully, off of a win in Cleveland. And we're looking to end the season strong, man. Get to the playoffs. Hey, time is now, guys. Time is now. No Pat, no Joe. No problem.
This is it. Yeah. No more excuses, Whittle. No, we don't have any. We're going all in. We're pushing all in. All right. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll talk next week.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.